So you have a lot of investments coming in. And what are they doing? They're throwing out high-level experienced people, and they're replacing them with either AI agents or remote team members who have very little experience. And they're just trying to get that bottom line to say 20-30% profit margin or whatever it might be. So since we're Houston only.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
How you handle the pressure when the operation is heavily and unexpected, because with 300 houses on the management, it's not like one thing happen every day. You have several things happening every single day, and it could be anything. People think, no, just property management is just the toilet, if it doesn't flush, or is it blocked, or to change this, or to change the tap. Anything that have nothing to do can happen. I remember one tenant called me one that had pigeons in the balcony. And I go there, and what happened was the pigeons, they have a nest. Mm-hmm. If all the pigeons have gone there, and the whole family is coming back every year. And I'm like, every year with pest control and everything, and there is no way that you can get rid of this thing because it comes back to where they belong.
Yeah.
And I had to deal even with this, so so a lot of things happen at the same time, and it's not only, you have to be creative, you have to be proactive, you have to be resourceful, and so tell us how you become the challenge, okay? And what is it better? Because you talk to people and say, no, I prefer only to buy the houses. I don't want to do anything with the maintenance of the operation. Other people, like a friend that is just sitting next to me listening to the podcast, he loves operation. And let me tell you something, he have a big operation, and he's not even renting rooms, he's even renting the beds.
Oh, wow.
And I'm telling you about large operations, and he can handle it. He loves this stuff, and he's amazing doing this. So some people are great in the operation. Some people exceed in the succeed in the, let's say, the cows, right? That's what they are best at, right? Where the other type of people, they are not good for that. So tell us about this. Do you feel comfortable that you could succeed in that environment? That's what you went that, or just was purely business and it had to be financially viable, and that's why you did it? What was the main reason?
I would say it started out of necessity. I think it was one of those where I was like, I'm going to have to figure this out. I've got, I think when I was looking.
So what happened, Cameron? You were paying so much money for property management, or what?
No.
It was costing you too much, or something?
No, I was trying to find a property manager, and I couldn't find anybody. I was doing it myself.
You couldn't find. Okay.
And I was still working W-2, so, and I just couldn't find anybody. So I started to, I probably had 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 doors at the time. So it's not like I was just coming with one door, and people blew off meetings. They were disrespectful, and it was just like, or it seemed like a very, just unprofessional operation. And I do 100% agree with you, Harry. I think buying properties and going out and finding deals is a different skill set than once you have acquired the property, of managing it, of making sure that asset performs. So people that go out and look for deals, they're really good on the phone. They're really gregarious. They're social. Maybe you go to a lot of networking events. And then the people that have to come in and operate, it's a disciplined business. You have to have a system. It has to be
different type of person. Yeah.
Totally different. Detailed person versus, more, again, social person that's not in the details, or big picture type thinkers, which it works perfectly for acquisitions. It's just operating a property. And I have seen great people operate properties into the ground. They're not, they don't want to have that conflict with the tenants. They don't have a system down on how to get a tenant out when they don't pay rent. And they just think things are going to get better over time.
They don't even want to get involved in that and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, conflict is not their strong suit.
Exactly.
Again, the details are not. So it's like, especially when you're filing an eviction, it's one of those things that you have to dot your I's and cross your T's, because when you go in front of a judge, you have to have everything lined out. And if you don't, you're out, and it might take you another month or 2 months to get back in the courtroom with all your documentation.
Exactly. Only with one tiny mistake. Yeah. But
Yep.
then come on, another question. You own 10 properties, you managing yourself. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, it's a very good money. You're doing everything, and this is a good number. You own 10 properties, you manage yourself. I think it's enough for you. Don't have to do anything. We all know that it's not as much work, right? Yep. When you know what you're doing. So why you decided? Because now when you get 20, when you get more property, because I've been there, when you expand, it was a problem. I remember it was like 7 houses, and then I expanded to 14, and I'm making the same money. Because you have to pay the employees, you have to pay the overhead, you need to pay this, and now you have to pay more to the accountant because now there is no transaction. Yes. And I went to be like yourself, having small number that you can handle yourself and be very lucrative. And then, okay, let's expand because expand is better. And then you find out that you have to be careful how you expand, because otherwise you just end up with more problems with the same money. You're just bigger.
Yes.
So now you have to expand more. Then the more you expand, I think the mistake comes.
Yes, 100%.
In these 10 houses that you bought that they're yourself, no problem. You bought them, you know what they perform, you know the conditions belong to you, all good.
Yep.
But now you manage other people's houses, and then you find this, you find the challenge, you find more barriers to this, right?
Yes.
And then it's become more complicated. So tell us about scaling up. What is your biggest challenge and how you become the challenge?
Yeah, I think it goes to the same way of whether you want to pay off real estate or not. Some people want 5 properties that are all paid off, or 3 properties that are paid off that produce the same amount of income as 15 or 30 leverage properties. So there's no right or wrong answer, but as you add doors, you add operational complexity. If you have a mess with 4 or 5 properties, you're going to have a bigger mess at 30, 40, 50. And I think the big decision for me to scale was when I realized that we had something unique in the market. We consider ourselves asset managers. I feel like I am still Emerson's biggest client, so I'm still our biggest client. So any things that we adjust or any process improvements, I get to see those or benefit from those first and foremost, or don't benefit. If I realize, we've done something wrong, I am suffering. We try stuff out on my properties, not on an owner's properties or another client's properties. So I think that it was one of those when we realized we have something special, and it's a need that needs to be satisfied in the market of professionalism, expertise, strategy, as you mentioned, being proactive and not reactive. And right now it feels like a lot of people in the market, you see a lot of private equity coming in and buying companies up. And because with AI, everybody's kind of scared, like, well, what's going to happen? Is this going to go away? Is that? But everybody always will need a place to live. So you have a lot of investments coming in, and what are they doing? They're throwing out high-level experienced people, and they're replacing them with either AI agents or remote team members who have very little experience. And they're just trying to get that bottom line to say 20, 30% profit margin or whatever it might be. So since we're Houston only, I think we have a very unique competitive advantage there. And, we have seen great success.
Follow us for more interviews with the world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.